G Panda Beat.
Yes, people. It's your host, Geniusdan, followed by my co-host,
Verbz.
Yes, how are you today?
I'm alright, cuz just here, man. You get me? Ready for another episode, man. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good, ready to go.
Good.
Yeah. So, today's topic is sex important in relationships?
My God!
Yes, people. This is a very, I'd say, touchy subject, and is one that we should really touch on because, as you know, many people are in relationships, and some of the relationships are, it's different. Some will be serious, some not so serious. But the main thing is, especially for you listeners, do you think sex plays an important part in a relationship?
My God!
No, for me personally, I would say yes. Because, well, I can't speak for everyone. Well, for men, yeah, for me, yeah, it's yeah, that's a must. I don't think, yeah, a relationship would, well, I'd struggle. I'm just being honest with you. I would. I mean, yeah, being real. And for me, I feel that as well. You have to have the same. You have to have a level of connection as well between you and your partner, because it could be a thing where you might have a high sex drive and then your partner might not. So it could then become a problem.
My God!
Because if then you're someone that, wants to be able to get at it or, do it, and then I'm not interested, it could then open up different issues. It could open up problems in terms of infidelity, cheating, people doing, other stuff in terms of, getting that satisfaction, so it brings, it's a very touchy subject, and, it's one that I'd say people need to really consider before getting into any sort of serious relationship or even that of marriage. The compatibility is a very important thing, because you find that a lot of people, rush into relationship. They don't really take time out to get to know each other. A lot of the times it's, physical attraction. The physical attraction could be there, but then the inward attraction could be completely different. You have some people that will go for the outward appearance and neglect the inward appearance. So sometimes you find there that it's either there's going to be a choice. What do you prefer, the outward appearance or the inward appearance? The inward appearance could be beautiful. It'll be someone that, that loves you unconditionally, cares about you, does all the right things in terms of how they treat you, behavior, character, all those sort of things can be on point. But then on the other hand, you could, have someone that, might be very good looking, but they're obnoxious. They're lovers of themselves. They only think of themselves. They're selfish, self-absorbed, self-centered, all these things. And I see it all the time, especially with friends, and you think to yourself like, wow. And if you, the listeners, was told, choose one or the other, like what would more matter to you, the physical appearance or the inward appearance? If you had to choose between one or the other, the person might not look that great, but they'll treat you like a king, they'll treat you like a queen. Everything will be on point, but they might not look good. But on the other hand, you have someone that looks great. What would some people say? God's gift to men or God's gift to women, as some would say. But then treats you like a complete git, disrespects you, talks down to you, all that, So it's interesting, man. What about you, cuz? What's your thoughts on this?
It's how can I explain it? It's I think what, if you want something long lasting, and I think it's a matter of if you've had relationship experience with quite a few people, I think you would naturally get to the point, I believe I could be wrong, but I think you'd naturally get to the point where you would overlook physical appearance. Do you know what I mean? And go for uh, inner attractiveness, if you get what I'm saying. Do you know what I mean? In terms
Yeah,
of that person meeting your needs and having certain qualities and stuff like that. But at the same time as well, I do believe, cuz, that there's a lot of people out there that do focus on the appearance, how the person looks, and they're besotted with how people look. And some people are stuck in that cycle of continuing to choose the wrong partner because they can't, look past attractiveness.
that's true.
Do you know what I mean?
Mm.
For me, I'm not gonna lie, I need attractiveness when I've got a partner. Do you know what I mean?
It's good. At least you're
And I
being
think,
honest.
yeah, and I think most of my partners reflect that, to be fair. And I'm not saying that there is, like how can I explain it without offending our female listeners? There's levels of attractiveness in it, if you get what I'm saying. But I still have to be attracted to my partner. So there's people that are, I would say, quietly attractive, where you might walk past them, they might look like an everyday person, sort of thing, somebody you pass in the community every day. But once you stop and actually have a conversation with them, you can see beauty in them because you've stopped, and do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah,
And you're focusing on them. But then there's some people where you don't even have to focus on them. They walk past and you're like, rah, they're gorgeous. Do you know what I mean?
yeah.
But I just have to be attracted to my partner. But at the same time, above attractiveness is definitely the qualities that they possess.
Mm.
And, I do think that sex is definitely key in relationships and marriages. I'm not saying you have to be like wild rabbits, but I do think you need a compatible partner where if your thing is, I mean, you made a good point earlier where you were saying somebody could be like what was the word you said? Have a high sex drive.
Yeah,
Yeah. And they can go out with somebody that's not that fussed about sex. That might be a car crash waiting to happen.
mm.
Do you get me? If those two got involved in a relationship, because it's always going to be one person having that need to want to have sexual activity, and the other person's going to be like, not tonight, blah, blah, blah,
Mm.
and stretch it out. Do you get me? But I think if you find like a suitable partner that has the needs when it comes to sex like you do, some people
Mm.
might have sex. I know some people might laugh at this. I've heard people laugh at things like this when I've had discussions like this with people.
Mm.
Some people have sex like once every 2 to 3 weeks, bruv. You get
Mm.
me?
Yeah,
Some people have sex daily. Some people have sex every couple of days. Some people have sex like every few months.
yeah. Good luck to them, man. That's the
Yeah, do you know what I'm saying?
yeah.
But the thing is, we're laughing at that. But if the two people involved in that sexual relationship every few months, let's just say they're two business people and they're very, very, very busy and they
Mm.
traveled all over the place for work and that's the only opportunity they get. As long as both of them, their needs are met and they're happy with that, then that can work, innit?
Yeah, I
It's not really for
suppose
us to, yeah, for us
to
to judge
judge.
because
Yeah.
different people have circumstances, isn't it?
Mm.
Do you know what I mean? But
Yeah.
definitely, I do believe sex is a key factor. But at the same time, I think for me, I'll pass the baton on to you after I say this. But I do believe that friendship is the biggest factor when it comes to relationships and marriage.
My God. Yeah, it's true. That's a deep point. I would then say, next, do you think, lack of sex can ruin a relationship?
Yeah, like I said, if you couple up with the wrong person, or not the wrong person, I should rephrase that. If you couple up with a person that has got a higher sex drive than you, or
Mm.
the opposite, a lower sex drive than you, you're just not on the same page when it comes
Mm.
to how often you'd be involved in sexual activity with each other. That can be a car crash waiting to happen, but also it can be a thing where I suppose if the person that's not getting it as much has a lot of self discipline,
Mm.
they might wait. It just depends on how long you drag it out, innit?
Mm.
Do you get what I'm saying? They might wait. I just think whether you have sex on a regular basis or you don't, I do think self discipline is a very helpful factor when you're in a relationship or a marriage, because you have to compromise with certain things, innit?
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? Compromise is definitely important when it comes to stuff like that. And I think with compromise, you need a level of self-discipline. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
To think of the other person and say, all right, it's not about me now. Do you get me? Let me think of them first, and then you kind of come together and work it out where it balances itself out. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean,
But I think if you're young or you're an older, proper full-on adult, it could be in your 30s and 40s, and I think when you're in your 30s and 40s, I don't think sex should be your main drive. If you're, do you know what I'm saying to you though?
Talk for
Does that make
yourself.
sense? No, when I mean like that, you joke, you know. No, not like that. That's gonna make me sound bad to the listeners. What I mean is, yeah. Let me make it clear. Not with your partner, not that. Yeah, I'm saying when I see me personally myself, when I see men in their 30s and 40s, and even women, yeah, and let's just say they're single. And they want to run around and mingle. If you're running around and mingle because you need your sexual pleasures, and you put yourself in all these positions where you go hotel, or you go to a person's yard, or you do some dogging in a car, or whatever it is, if sex is your main drive, I just think at that age you should have been able to apply a little bit more discipline where that shouldn't be your main drive. You know what I mean? You laughing at me like I'm talking madness.
Hilarious, man. You know what?
You know what I mean? What? I just think for me, you know what? Like if I was single now, yeah, and I was trying to mingle with females, I'm not saying I wouldn't be looking for sex, but I'd think like even if I was having sex, there's a requirement where I would want to have sex with somebody that is fairly intelligent, fairly mature, has an element of care about them. So when I'm spending time with them, it almost feels like a relationship. But if I don't want to be in a relationship, I don't have to. But they have qualities where I enjoy being around them for that moment. But when it's somebody that just looks good, they have no qualities, and you're just trying to have sex, I think when you're older, it should be a little bit better than that. That's a young man. That's a young people thing. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know, like some older people, whether it's women, you know, you got the cougars and all this crap now, will lay down with a young man. So you might have a woman in her 40s laying down with somebody in their 20s. I'm not saying it's impossible, but I doubt that them two have, after they finish doing their do and they're in a hotel for the night, I doubt they're going to have much conversation that, you know what I mean, that stimulates the older person.
Yeah, I understand. Yeah, man.
That's the kind of thing that I'm trying to say. Do you get what I
mean?
Yeah, you know. So yeah, sex is definitely important, but I do believe that friendship is one of the things that hold things together, and yeah, sex is important, but friendship, there's going to be times where you're busy, or you're not in the mood, or your person's not in the right I don't know, mindset or whatever not, and I think the friendship factor can help to balance things out.
So what you mean, friendship benefits there?
No, I mean like no, I mean like, you know, like you can chill out with your missus. If you got your missus, if you're in a relationship, or your miss, a woman's got her husband, you can chill out, and it's like you're with your friend. You can switch on the friend element, where you can chill, have a conversation, have a laugh, and it's like you're out with your friends.
Yeah,
that kind of thing. You got to have an element of that as well. For it to work. You get me? Because things go wrong in relationships and marriages. If you haven't got the friendship part of it, how are you supposed to conversate? Do you get me? How are you supposed to, do you know what I mean? Enjoy times together. You got to have that. You giggle and act stupid together when you're ready.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean?
Yeah. It's interesting.
That's me anyway. Do you get me?
Yeah.
You know, so when you say you're just driven by sex, yeah.
No, you know what it is? It's a subject that you know, I've come across a lot of messages on social media, and you know, I think if anything, from a man's point of view, I think it matters more to a man than it does a woman. That's what I reckon. And for me as well, I feel that psychologically, if there are two partners that are in a committed, sexual relationship, I feel that, going for long periods of time without sex can cause feelings of hurt or even rejection, and sometimes can significantly decrease levels of intimacy and connectedness within that relationship, you know?
All right, so what if, say, for instance, I'll give you an example. I do hear that. I do hear what you're saying still, and it
Mm,
makes perfect sense, yeah. But I'll give you an example. What if you got two people together and they're both um pretty successful, got jobs and so on and so forth. One's encountering a stressful period of time at their workplace where the demands from the management is high, or they're switching up their job role, or they're dropping their salary or a bit or whatever, and now they don't realize that they've become depressed and their sex drive is gone. What then?
that's going to be a problem, isn't it?
I'm not saying gone for good, but while they're depressed, it's gone.
Let me show you something, because see, let me show you something. You have some people, you see that statement there? I came across a post on Facebook about a year ago, and this girl,
Mm,
said, she put up a post, said, "Oh, can you believe, the one time where I said to my partner that, I can't do it because I'm on my period, he went and cheated." She said, "Imagine every time, but this is the one time I was like, you know what, I'm on." He went and cheated. So she was like, do you think I should dump him or not? And I was like, wow, that's different. Imagine this woman.
she asked you that,
No, this is the post she put on Facebook.
or is it?
Yeah. And then
Where
people,
some people put too much on Facebook,
I
boy.
was like, yeah, I was like, that is deep. She said it's the one time I've turned around and said, I'm on. It was a problem. Went and cheated.
Sound Sounds like it was bigger than that, man. Sounds like he was probably cheating before and he's just waiting for the opportunity to just
Hmm,
dash her away.
hmm.
That's what it sounds like to
Wow.
me. Because if he's been with her, she would have been on her period loads of times while he's with her, right? And it didn't matter then, unless she was giving him some when he was on it.
Mhm.
You get me? But
Yeah,
but at the same time, if she wasn't, he would have gone through that before. So why finish with her now?
yeah.
Do you get me?
Hmm.
He must have had someone in the pipeline, innit? And he just thought, I'm just waiting for the opportunity to just get rid of my girl. And her saying that was the end of the road.
Yeah. That's interesting, man. Yeah, that's
Yeah, I mean,
interesting. Yeah. That's,
sometimes people make excuses, man.
hmm. But
I mean,
yeah, I'll be honest with you, what you said was, a very mature approach, like, obviously I guess sometimes it shouldn't really be a priority. There are obviously important things in life. People work, people go home after work, they're tired, whatnot, you know. I
that's
mean,
what I'm saying.
mm, you
Or
know,
suppose you just have your child, your missus just bears your child,
mm,
and then she's got like postnatal depression or something like that. But then
yeah,
because of your demand for sex,
mm,
you're pushing it on her. You should kind of be able, if you know her well enough, you should identify she's moving out of character since
mm,
she's had these kids. Let me
mm,
support her and find out. And when you get the diagnosis, that's when you have to activate your self discipline and say, you know what? This ain't about me, man. My missus is going through things. I need to support her through this. And when she's in a better place, then hopefully we'll get to that place where we can start being sexual again. But right now, like that's not gonna happen. So
mm,
I'm gonna have to prioritize and compromise and put her first.
mm,
She's not choosing to do it. It's a situation. Just like the man can go to work, experience pressures at work, or experience being made redundant.
mm,
All of a sudden, he's not thinking about sex anymore. He's probably not even eating no food.
mm,
And if his woman's got a high sex drive, if she can't see something's wrong with him, he's staring into space all the time, and she still persists to say, "Nah, man, you, it's been a week and you haven't given me anything," and all that madness. You
mm,
get me? Like, are they the right partner for you? Because people go through shit, and none of us are above experiencing things that might just knock off our sex drive for a hot minute.
mm, mm. Okay, that's actually that's a very, very good point, which then brings me on to this, and what your thoughts on this. Would you say sex makes a relationship stronger? That's a question to you.
That's a big one, still. I like the way you put that one, you try to drop that right on me.
Mm,
Um, I think I'd be a fool to say that sex doesn't, to say that to deny that sex brings people closer together. I think it does. Sex isn't just about sex. Sex is about spiritual connection, isn't it? Whether you realize it or not, you know what I mean? You're being close to somebody, and if you're having sex with somebody in a respectful manner where you're pleasing them and they're pleasing you, you're putting yourselves in a situation where you're intertwining spiritually. You know, we come on. If anybody can't tell me that when they've had tense times with their partner where there might be arguments or a bit of awkwardness between you, and then you have sex, like the sex just, it soothes everything, but you stop arguing for a period of time after that. You get me?
It's true.
So it's a release, isn't it, at the end of the day, and it brings you back together. It reminds you of that closeness. So yeah, I'll definitely say that. Yeah, I definitely say that. Yeah, sex will bring people closer together.
Yeah. All right.
100%. As long as it's done respectfully and it's not like, oh, I think it doesn't if you have one partner, like you said, who's got a higher sex drive than the other, and they're making a demand that there needs to be, oh, you ain't slept with me for how long? You should sleep with me now. And then, so let's just say it's the man saying that to the woman, and the woman's rolling her eyes, but I'm tired, babe. Yeah, but you said red. And she rolls her eyes, and she's like, and then pulls down her knickers and says, go on then. You know me?
What do you think about that then? Yeah, when someone says, go on then. I'm happy you said that.
He's hammering away, and she's just laying there like, and then he's finished. That don't bring you closer together, bruv, because your missus' body's there. But guess what? Mind ain't there, bruv. My
God! All right, you know something? This is you're deep, man. But, you know, I've come, obviously with this thing over the years, I do a lot of research. So, I know that there's lots of people that assume that more sex means better relationships. Would you say that's true or not?
It depends on if, like I said, if it's about suitability, innit? If you're with the partner that is on the same level as you when it comes to having more sex and they're enjoying it as much as you are, that's different. But if you are with a partner where their sex drive ain't like that, and let's just say they are God-fearing people, they've got married, just an example, this isn't to knock on any religion or anything, but let's just say they're God-fearing people, they've got married, and the Bible or the Quran or whatever it is says that you must submit to your husband when it comes to that time. Yeah? The woman will say, all right, I want to get married. I do love him. I want to have children with him. Go and get involved in that, get married. Yeah. And then next thing you know, she's under pressure all the time now to keep it up. It don't, just because the Bible or the Quran says that you must do that, it don't mean that she's enjoying it, bruv. It don't mean that she wants to do it that much. She's just fulfilling the expectancy of what the wife is supposed to do for the husband.
That's interesting.
Do you get me? Yeah. You have to, I don't know how you're going to do it, but you have to find a person that is suitable. If your drive is high, their drive is high, and it stays high and yours stays high. And then maybe that might be the case. You get me? But I suppose as well, in the midst of that, you'd have to be very experimental where you're trying to do new things and new moves, because if it's too repetitive, then that can get stale too, innit?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's interesting, man. That's interesting. Yeah. And obviously, this will be an individual question. This is a question to individuals. I mean, how long can a man stay without sex for? It's a question I know. I'm sure you know yourself. Do you think? Yeah. What's your thoughts on that?
I can't speak for any man, blood.
I'm saying, I'm just saying. That's actually a deep question. How long can a man stay without sex? Boy.
Well, I think you're gonna ask that question. You have to say, how long can you stay without sex? I don't think you can answer it. I don't think you can answer for any man. That's a mad thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's. Do you know what? You're gonna love this, man. Do you know this is how you know that sex can really mess up people. Did you know that prolonged sexual abstinence can lead to various distress in men, psychological symptoms, anxiety, depression. Did you know that?
Well, if you don't have sex,
Over a prolonged period of time.
I think that's possible. I wouldn't disagree with that because, like I said, I do believe that whether people understand that or not, I do believe that sex is a form of release. So the example that I gave earlier, where I was saying that you could be with your partner and you might be having a lot of arguments in recent times, or it's a bit awkward if you get what I'm saying between you, and then you both get sexually acquainted and you have a good old time in the sheets. Do you know what I mean? And then you release. So afterwards, it's like all that argument that you were having, it almost like stops for the next few weeks, if you get what I'm saying, before it starts again. Do you know what I mean? It brings you closer together. So I think it's a release. You release tension when you do that, innit?
Yeah.
Just the same thing like going to the gym. I'm sure the same endorphins and all these effects that it would have when people go to the gym that they're addicted to would be the same endorphins or similar to when you have sex, because it's still a physical activity, isn't it? As well as you being close to somebody. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, no.
If anything, it's more because you're actually feeling pleasure as well as doing the physical activity. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, that's such a valid point.
Yeah, so I suppose if you're going through certain things and you get that release, it will make you feel at ease for a while. Whatever you're going through, you'd feel at ease. Like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. Whereas if you don't, then you're just tense 24/7, aggressive 24/7.
Yeah, that's a valid point, man. So do you have?
So let me ask you a question now. How long do you think you can go without it, blood?
My God.
Tell the truth, yeah, blood.
2 weeks. 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
Yeah, man. 2 weeks.
That's the longest you can go without it.
Yeah.
Okay, man, like you know.
That's That's it. Yeah. What about yourself?
10 years.
No, you telling me.
My God.
Nah, joking. I could go for a while, blood. I'm not even gonna lie.
That's good, man. Good for you.
Yeah, I can do. You know what it is. You know what it is. Yeah, I'm gonna be honest with you. Like, I'm not even gonna get into mad details about who and whatever not. But I've been in relationships where women try to get slick and they try to use their body against you. I'm sure every man's been in a relationship like that. You get me? Whether you was younger or whatever, but women try to use their body against you. And when I clock on, I'm the type of person, when I clock on that's what you're doing.
Yeah.
I can condition myself. If it's in my mind, my body behaves similarly to what my mind says. So if I say, Rush, she's taking a mickey now, she's trying to work her brain and use this thing as a weapon to control me. You know what I mean? All right, cool, no problem. I would never ask this woman for sex again. And if I do that, if I do that, bruv, I will lock off and we won't do nothing until that woman comes to me for it.
My God.
You say that.
100%, blood. 100%. Or obviously, like, there's been times, quite a few times, especially when I was younger, where if girls do shit like that, then just kick them to the curb and do something with someone else, innit? You get me?
Yeah, man.
But yeah, I could go for a while still. It just depends still. You know what I mean? I'd say about a month.
Yeah. And after that,
if I had to, huh?
And after a month, what happens then?
You don't want to know, blood.
My God.
Yes, man.
What does any man fucking do if they're not getting nothing after a month, blood?
Goodness, that's an individual question.
Huh?
That's mad.
Exactly.
I'm gonna
Is it even a mere fact?
that's mad. That's a madness
If,
of that, man.
even the mere fact you're saying that, blood, that means you know what time it is.
You're funny, man.
Sometimes you have to do the old school hip hop shuffle, you know, blood.
You're funny. This guy. What guy? Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah, man. So you know what, boy? I think that's pretty much yeah, that's pretty much it. To be honest with you, so at the end of the day, the question deems now, obviously after having that discussion, is sex important in the relationship? Now, would you say, to a certain degree?
Yeah, I don't think a relationship based on celibacy. I'm not saying it's impossible, but I don't think a relationship celibacy ain't for everybody. It's for very strong-minded people. You get me?
Mm,
Whatever they're trying to achieve, I don't know why people will be celibate, but whatever they're trying to achieve together, then you have to be very strong-minded. But I do believe the majority of society can't
mm,
do relationship with no sex. Everybody needs sex, whether it's a release, whether it's bringing each other together for all different types of reasons, whether it's re-sparking your flame in your relationship or your marriage, whatever. But
mm.
sex is definitely a fundamental part of a relationship or a marriage. Do you get me?
Yeah. No, that's yeah, cause I like that. That was a good session, man.
Yeah, man.
That was a
Thank
good
you very
session, man.
much. Yeah, man.
Mhm.
So we say we're gonna close up. So
Yeah. So
it's bye from me, Verbs,
and bye for myself, Geniusdan.
and we'll see you next week on the Triggered Thoughts podcast.
Blessings, people. Yes, sir.